but you could play it very well alongside this Human Torch, alongside an Ultron. We'll see if they do it. I mean, I haven't seen too many teams run that sort of Captain America dive composition outside.
Well, she keeps her eyes forward and focuses on making the team play together with some strong comms, and that conversation about letting strats decide how that works out was very interesting to me, and I think it's helped Sentinels perform very much, we talked about, like we said, as a team rather than individual talent, because they are all hard locked in to how these comms are given. And up here, Mello on the Wolverine looking for the tackle as Crimzo going to be playing Captain America.
That's some very unique insight, Shib, as you know, hopefully we get more players to share such insight on the Cozy cast. Sentinels, a team that has a lot of things known about them. We'll see about these other rosters, you know, what's to come, but Dink's already on Techie after that pull came in from Mello, like you said, Shib. That angle from the Wolverine was beautiful.
Yeah, and the fight is going to be pretty much stalled at this point, heavily in the side of Nemesis with this pressure driving the team back as Sentinels regroups here. Nobody getting KO just yet. Craze, we talk about the throw here on Wolverine, the fastball special. This is a scary team up that maybe slept on a little bit, because giving Wolverine the chance to play boomerang, throw him past and allow him to tackle back is a pretty much an ultimate for Wolverine, who plays so much off of that tackle. And here goes the throw directly on to the front line. Ricky goes down for Crimzo, though, during that fight. Crimzo going to find an off-angle pick, and that is a huge pick just to turn the momentum around as Korova takes out a Median after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to deal with, but they come back through. They do pop that Eternal Bond, but we'll see what Sentinels are up to do. Korova, ultimate available, dives on in there, keeping Amazing alive. Nemesis now at a disadvantage.
And we do see the Eternal Bond out for now. Amazing holding that height. A very, very mean Human Torch who already is holding on to that ultimate. Can be ready as the team has the dance floors lit up. And a tackle of the last stand, not able to get anyone fully through it, as Sentinels are still holding on to Amazing and Crimzo with the Q. It's going to be matched as Crazemang does pop Hulk. Scatter goes up in the sky. Will the dunk happen? Not able to find value with it. But Cray, oh, nice freeze there from Aramori to hold and stall that as Techie finds one, Nectar finds two, and Sentinels are going to try to retake this point, but 72% on the side of Nemesis. Great first hold.
Yeah, good first hold indeed, and that's kind of what happens on Domination, right? The tickage kind of just goes up so fast compared to every other game mode. Domination, you know, I would argue maybe we'll see what happens in terms of rule set. Maybe it needs to last a little bit longer, but regardless, Team Nemesis 77% on the board. Like you said, all they need is that one fight and the deal with Doctor Strange portals coming back. They do have ultimates coming through. They do have the Horn of Proteus ready to go, and on the opposite side, Sentinels does have Techie and the Meteor M. You know, for Nemesis, we'll see how they set this up. They are against the dive composition, so maybe he'll use it to peel. And on the opposite side, Techie probably going to enable his divers, save people with that Meteor M against Team Nemesis on their engage.
Yeah, Median and Dinks both ready to press Q. Crimzo on and off angle. Nectar finds Ricky and Dinks down early. Great pick there. Keeping pressure on. They've got to try to make up this difference. Nemesis just has to win one Q advantage fight. Once they get these ults, they just have to take one down and force them into a teleport play situation. But great neutral, not burning a ton there for Sentinels. And Nectar finding a few picks while still holding on to that dance of the butterfly. Amazing on this height, ready to set up. It is threatening when you see this on the ground. The fire begins. Tick damage for days, and getting that ultimate back relatively quickly. That supernova is not insanely threatening in and of itself, but it does buy a ton of space.
And they go aggressive with the Dance of the Butterflies. Oh no, Median goes down. It's traded at least by one. Korova will fall, but Mello going down as well with that last stand is awful. That was one of the huge ults for this fight. Sentinels understanding the win condition, which is to go aggressive with some plays, might pan out as they still have point control.
Yeah, that was a good fight there again by Sentinels. Aramori holding on to that dance floor. Amazing ready for the supernova as well. And there we go, as we do see it pop from Ricky on the side of Nemesis, who just want to get some pressure back. Mello going to take out Amazing out of the sky with Wolf. Crazemang onto Aramori. Amadian on to Techie. And down goes Nectar as well. And Amadian showing off the power of... Well, we haven't seen a ton here of Namor, but he has been getting a ton of value today. So exciting to see him still on the docket here in that whale. Still getting a little bit of value, although it is not nearly as impactful as when Strangling Prison and Whale combination was the it play.
This is definitely a back and forth series. You know, this is the top teams playing. Now here comes an aggressive play with the Captain America. They run on in, force a Median shift, and the Whale. Nectar able to take out Wiki, though.
Yeah, and that's a nice pick there onto Dinks as well. Crimzo just applying a ton of pressure, obviously using that freedom charge to just have infinite HP and just be so difficult to escape from. The alt pop there from Crazy just to kind of stall the point as it is at 99. This could be enough to allow them to TP in. And great dash through to retake HP off point if you are on point. Ooh, Crazy has to fall off there and reset, trying to get the reset to portal back in before that goes away. Nectar going to take out Ricky, Karoba on a scatter, and Techie on a Dinks. And wow, Sentinels holding on tight and getting the W.
Up aggressive dive, set up plays, play proactive, and I think that sort of favors these dive compositions. We'll see how Team Nemesis does on this upcoming map. Maybe these squids get a little bit more value out of a Madian on the Namor, but right now dive is looking disgusting on Sentinel's side and alive as ever.
Yeah, Sentinels just showing their presence, their experience in these situations, even small things like Jeff Bubble there out the spawn door to give them a little bit of a lead onto point so they can set up prior. You're right. Ooh, good tackle, but that is a flying hero who can come right back off the map. But a good idea there from Mello, trying to find an early pick. But we talk about that 77% there. Oh, nice throw again by Techie, who seemingly just doesn't miss with these Meteor M's. Nectar onto Scatter, and once again, Sentinels going to start off and at this point are going to hold the point off the rip instead of Nemesis. But cycling back to what we were saying, Nemesis 77% in that first fight and still going to Sentinel shows how calm and collected they can be as a team who retook that point and never lost it.
Yeah, unless something crazy happens, I feel like Sentinels on this dive just looks so good. Look how it's just Crimzo and Nectar sort of tag team duoing together. You know, we've seen this with Human Torch and Ultron. Now we're going to see it with Captain America and Psylocke yet again. Constantly diving on these backlines, forcing out ultimates as Nemesis have them. Meanwhile, for Nemesis, it seems like they're all in on throwing this Wolverine, trying to play anti-air, but they have to constantly deal with Nectar and Crimzo on their backline.
Yeah, just the fact that it forces eyes in another direction is enough value. There's a tackle there by Mello. Not able to get the last stand value off anything just yet. We do see the Eternal Bond go out for Karoba, holding on, installing the point. And at this point, team just going to regroup, get healthy, and start the fight again. It's matched on both sides. Scatter going to find Aramori, though. Nice pick there to not allow that to continue. And it is what a Supernova out to just hold this space. This is where we're talking about the pure value of these fire tornadoes, making teams think about where they need to go. And honestly, just the clutter and the visual lockdown that it provides is value as well. Great ult here. Again, Crimzo finding Dinks in the back. Nectar onto Scatter.
I mean, I think this is a meta-defining match right now. I mean, unfortunately for Team Nemesis, they pretty much played that perfectly. Now they're delaying with the Hulk. I mean, the Hulk's going to get deleted a little bit. Maybe a whale comes in, but here's Aramori with the Fate of the Worlds and Nectar on the backside. I mean, he's just look how much value he's getting. He's distracting everybody with this Luna Snowflake and finding elimination. Sure, Craftsman took down Amazing, but right now, even with finding Aramori, that was like the perfect fight for Team Nemesis. They still couldn't win, and to me, that screams composition diff right now for Sentinels as they have 93% on the board, looking to close it out as Craftsman comes in with the portal. Maybe they could find something with a last stand from Mello last second or Median with this Horn of Probius.
Yeah, and that's a great TP play. If you have roughly 10%, you can get it there for the most part on Domination. Up goes Scatter, and there's the whale combination. Does get two. Yeah, Median and Scatter, good combo there. Make that three. Amazing finds Ricky in the back, though. There's that dive. Finding value in the back of Median. Onto Amazing trading again. And it looks like Nemesis should get some percentage here.
Percentage built up. Scatter, no heals though. There's no heals because the healers are going down to Nectar. Nectar found a Median. Nectar is still doing so much work. Does go down to Scatter eventually, but to me, Shiv, this feels like, you know, Marvel Rivals, any hero shooter. These games turn into a matter of, you know, if you have to play perfect with the composition, it always is very hard to win with said compositions, right? Because for Sentinels, it feels like they can make mistakes and bring themselves back into it. We'll see if they can do it again though, as Amazing gets grabbed out of the sky.
Yeah, great focus there on the bubble. Has to turn the last stand away, and that's a value. Talking about massive bubble value, forcing last stand away from the tackle. Well done by Techie. Amazing getting one. Crimzo onto Crazemang, and once again,
They layered.
Just popping off. They did layer.
Oh, no. I mean, if Sentinels disengage, just come back in with the Supernova and Aramori. I mean, this is going to be brutal for Nemesis.
Yeah, you can't have that happen, as that is map defining in terms of just a huge net value loss. Right, amazing under Ricky there. Tries to find another tackle play. This all is getting a ton of value. Bubble out again into the sky. Right, amazing. Make that 3. Can I see 4 onto the Wolf, who has to touch now. Very close. Passive is popped. Wolverine, and that's virtually 4 as Cap is holding. Crazy Man just trying to hold on as much as possible, but it looks like it is going to Sentinels.
What a map from Sentinels there, Shib.
Similar comp here. Obviously, the selections off the rip may change. Right, amazing showing the Panther. I would love to see that, but we do see a bit of a change here for Nemesis, which I think is necessary. You'd like to see a shakeup here. You need to see a shakeup, especially.
You know, you could still probably play something along, you know, the Human Torch, the Atom with the Mantis, but Sentinels, whoa! The amazing Black Panther is coming out early. That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw it being hovered. Just I'm surprised to see it actually being executed. The whole team committing on this dive on the right side, grouping together. And this is something we haven't seen since season 1, I feel. As most teams have been electing to fight right down main, they are going to choose to do that and rotate right back as the team try to set up. This is going to mess with the team's placement of those equipment, as the turret is up cooldown. Well played here by Nemesis, who clearly likes this map, as it was a selection here for them. As the losing team, you actually choose map and side. So this is going to be their selection. Amadian going to lose that turret relatively quickly, and now they're all fighting down main. It's amazing trying to find this off angle.
Yeah, already set up for the dive. Unfortunately, they couldn't push him off, and Ricky gets deleted off the face of the freaking planet.
Teams have been working on the Panther. Maybe Sen self kind of showed how strong the Panther could be still in this meta. You know, they've seen a lot of tier lists, and everyone keeps saying Panther's not it, maybe not it, but when you get a coordinated team with a person that can spin 180 with high sense, he is a threat. And we see Techie taking out Dinks. Mellow onto Nectar there, traded evenly. Number's going to be evened out, and now Nemesis loses another. Ricky takes out Crimzo, even again on point, but we are 2 ticks in.
I mean, they're finding trades, and this mag is doing his job, right? Trying to keep the backline alive, and the backline trying to keep the tanks alive, the Vanguard's alive, but they just cannot. Techie's there with the follow-up onto Amadian. It's 1 by 1. Did the trades come through for Nemesis? They did before. Doesn't look like that's happening today, and the portal also blocks off this side, and Amazing showing the dominance of Black Panther yet again.
Oh my goodness, amazing. The Panther looking incredibly strong, just a nuisance. And with getting things like Loki off the field, I believe Loki was banned out, it makes it even more difficult to keep the strat line up and healthy there. As you're getting dove, your comms start getting nervous, you start yelling at your front line to turn around, and that shakes up the meta and just in terms of the team flow. So really well done here.
Yeah, this is the tough part about this patch is that, yeah, I mean, Black Panther is pretty much so hard to counter without the flyers, without that Human Torch. You're playing, you know, sort of on the ground. Kraz going to switch over to the thing to try to counter it right now. Sentinels setting up the dives, goes in with the best.
And Amadian going to pop that final judgment, looking directly at Luna. Actually, one of those ults that can burst through Luna. Great bubble there, great protection, but still good utilization of those cooldowns to cycle them. Nobody goes down, even though the fire, there wasn't a ton of movement left and right to juke. It just kind of soaked it with cooldowns. Well played again. Sentinels as a unit. Crimzo on height now. Amazing. Just back and forth here with the Panther, trying to keep eyes away from his back line. And again, out goes the dance of the butterfly from Nectar, finding 1. Ricky goes down. And again, odds are in the favor of Sentinels. Make that 2, 3, and 4 as Sentinels are already got this point 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, the interesting development in this game, in this patch, has been the dive to come to fruition, and we're seeing the pro players react to these patches sort of live, right? Super last second. Nemesis now coming back through with the portal. They can maybe touch with a clobber in time from Kraz.
Yeah, I do like the thing switch. Very difficult to get that Yancey Street onto a dash by the Panther. Actually, you can kind of predict and throw it on your strat line and hope that he dashes through it. But once again, amazing. Just sweeping here. Patient, waiting out some of these cooldowns. Electing to dive when things are gone. And that's the key. You know, engagement timing is everything for Panther. Kit is definitely difficult, but not the most difficult kit in the game. It's all about when you dive. Amazing. Juking like crazy. Ricky goes down. Crimzo finding 1. Again. And Nemesis is just trying to hold on, and Amazing back to full HP, just not getting taken out and being such a menace here. Again with the dance of the butterfly, but this one on the side of Mellow takes out the backline of Aramori and Kurova. Amazing and Crimzo again as the trades are so back and forth up with the Meteor M. Literal 1 HP, a dash might be able to clean that up. Crazy Man gonna find Techie there with a punch, which cannot be eaten, and Mellow with a sweep. Good retake here by Nemesis.
Sentinels so close to Shredder's ultimates, and unfortunately couldn't build them in time, resulting in Melo's ultimate connecting onto both strategists and removing them. Sentinels now also without Techie's ultimate as he tried to clutch it through. But right now, Nemesis finally holding their ground with the Thing. Maybe we're going to see the Thing work out for the first time, I think, in this North American side, as Team Nemesis trying to counter the force that is the Sentinels dive alongside our amazing Black Panther and Nectar on that Psylocke.
Crimzo with the engagement, immediately freedom charge. The team will follow up. Remember, as Cap is moving forward, if you follow in his wake in that trail, you will gain shield. A lot of this early Cap players don't understand that you actually need to run through your team. Allow that trail to be there. It's not an AoE around them. And Scatter trying to find a pick here. We do see Invisible Boundary right on point. And the entirety of the squads are both holding on. Nectar tried to get a dance, did not work. Crazeman going to turn that on Nectar. Amazing onto Melo again with the trades. These fights are so back and forth. Teams are both very strong in these fights as we see Amadian take out Aramori. Amazing again onto Dinks and Ricky. And Amazing on this Panther is insane right now.
Yeah, he's able to just roam free. Portal as well coming in late. Scatter using his earlier is a bit tough and gonna go down as well. And right now Sentinel is just sort of surrounding this objective. Nemesis trying to figure something out. Amadian off the Punisher is onto that Star-Lord. We've heard, you know, people talk about how Star-Lord is maybe the switch up as well to deal with this Black Panther dive, but right now dive looks so damn good. Nectar as well gonna go back over to the Psylocke off of that Strange for that portal. Last phase, this is not the best point for these dive compositions, so we'll see if Nemesis can stabilize with the Thing. But right now, 2-minute hold, actually not too much time on the bank either for Sentinels. Nemesis haven't done the worst job necessarily in the Streets phase, but look who's setting up over the top. It's Amazing and Crimzo.
Yeah, no, we have a Star-Lord out with the lock. Does help against something like Panther in the spin to win on the back line. We are going to see a shift here and see if the momentum changes again. We do see, it looks like Nemesis finally getting their footing here, starting to group together. Panther initiating that dive with Cap, and you said it, together is the key. Combination of timing as they both go into the same time. Out goes the Legend. Does it find anything? There's some value as Nectar goes down, and Amadian gets one. Bubble goes out. The combination made in heaven. Scatter and Amadian with that spin to win. Amazing out to Ricky and Dinks with a follow from Techie or Amori onto Amadian, and oh my goodness, it looks like Sentinels are going to sweep them all, and they do.
See, this is the tough part. I feel like Nemesis is actually playing this pretty good. Like, they had two people marking the flanks, making sure Amazing wasn't comfortable, had to go back to his team. They had Kraz and Melo looking for Rye and Crimzo, so you got to match, you know, 2-2 on those flank side. Nemesis, though, coming back. They do have ultimates. They saved them for this upcoming fight, so they maybe can win it up here.
Yeah, the retake, alt advantage heavily on the side of Nemesis. We said it wasn't going to go the distance, and Caster Curse is very real. Haven't seen it in a while, and here we go as we are going to see a fresh engagement. Nectar off the rip here. We're going to force out the dance floor. Team is stacking up. Good play. You force yourself away there as you actually can look in the center of the dance of the butterfly. You'll see a little ring, and there will always be Psylocke planting there after the ultimate. The Meteor M out. Amadian going to take out Armor before it even finds value. Nectar onto Ricky there. Techie onto Dinks. And again, the strat line is in trouble for Nemesis as they're just trying to hold on with Melo's ult here. Nectar onto Scatter, and that could be enough as the numbers are heavily in Sentinel's favor right now.
Yeah, they are, but here comes the Galactic Legend met by the Meteor M. Does not connect either, so he's able to get another elimination on a Kurova as well. But here comes the Invisible Boundary to let Sentinels hold on to this point and get rid of Crimzo. 5 seconds left too, and they don't have a portal. They're going to have to come back in with a very late ultimate from Aramori. Stratus ultimate, not going to keep really anybody else here for the side of Sentinels. They only have 3 people on this payload. Kurova does switch to the Doctor Strange, but you're going to have to stall in overtime for him to come back.
Great pacing by Ricky with that ultimate there. It did allow the team to retake. This was a really good retake there as the numbers were heavily against them, and that should be enough to hold on. But 4.3.
Portal play up the rip, also making sure to float just in case any shenanigans happens. But they're going to portal all the way into the backside, give themselves some space towards this health pack. And I think, oh no, is it too high? For some people, no, they could jump up, barely.
That was
stubby legs on the Thing.
That would have been a little bit scary, but a good play there as they're going to own and completely flip the side, giving them height advantage. This does help shut down dive a little bit as the people that were setting up are no longer going to be able to and are forced to retake, but the setup is there. As you see Panther and Cap on the left side, the team's not aware of it yet, and here comes Cap from Crimzo trying to reflect the Thing. Going to own this zone. This is my backline, and I will protect. Amadian with the spin. Ton of damage on a Panther. Panther going inside that bubble. Excuse me, Cap. Well done on the patience. Just reset together. Don't commit too too much and be ready to go back on the backline again, forcing them off that height.
Here's Mello now coming through in the dive, and they're able to take down backline yet again. Nectar's going to fall too, so Nemesis really doing a job at living and just kind of coming back into these fights, forcing off the flank. They're doing the due diligence. This is what we didn't see in the Ego game earlier, right? Team Nemesis kind of forcing out Rymazing, making sure that his cooldowns are used out of the fight, and during that time, during the downtime of Rymazing's abilities, when the cooldowns are up, that's when they're taking full advantage, running towards Kurova, running towards Aramori. And right now, I think Nemesis are playing perfectly. This is what we would have wanted to see out of Ego Death earlier on versus FlyQuest. Good teams play like this, and Nemesis are that team that can kind of take control of flank angles that Sentinels set up.
And one of the genius aspects of that play is putting them in a tight corridor like that may seem scary against something like Panther, but it allows your Yancey Street charge as the thing to get a ton of value. That zone of shutdown, limiting dashes from Panther and cap jump is insanely valuable, especially when it covers the entirety of a hallway. Good throw here. Tries to get value, but no luck. Amadian going to continue with the legend. Returned right back here by Nemesis as Amadian finds Crimzo. Not able to land the Meteor M, the meatball, if you will, but still going to be a battle on point as Panther alive and well, holding on in the neutral. Now we're going to see a ton of ults get popped. Kurova out with the dance floor. Nectar holding on here, ready to use that dance of the butterfly. We have Mello right back. Similar story with the strat line and a ult here from Psylocke out from Mello. And there is the Ricky ultimate to keep the team in the back safe as Rymazing and Nectar both have ults here for Sentinels though, and nothing to counter it.
I mean, they're constantly on the back foot. Nectar finally able to find Dinks, but this back line, they're able to stay alive. Ricky pushes away Nectar, lives for a little bit long enough for his team to show up and take down Nectar. So right now, great job from them. Both try to just remove, but this cart is still pushing. And Nemesis, almost towards the end of the phase. Right now, they're playing the objective super well. And also, oh no, that stagger pick onto Rymazing is brutal.
Yeah, Nemesis really showing up right now. 3 minutes 30 on. A similar position, I think slightly ahead of Sentinels at this point with the time in terms of the location of the point. Sentinels are going to have to find their footing here. They do have ult advantage in this fight, so they should theoretically take this one, as we do see that cap ult immediately. Freedom charged up, allowing the team to have a ton of HP. If you look at the back line, trying to get a pick here. Scatter goes down. Crazy Man goes down as well. Down goes Dinks. Rymazing with the two-piece. Crimzo looking for another, but the escape is there. Great play there. Still holding on to Aramori and Rymazing.
Mello trying to find the trade, cannot, and finally Sentinels get a hold. I mean, they sort of almost, they got snowballed a little bit towards the very end, but they've stopped it for now. 3 minutes left on the clock. Nemesis. Scatter. Buddy, you good?
Sometimes you try to hit tab and then you hit Q. You know what I mean? Sometimes you try to look at the stats and you hit Q.
Yeah, scatter, a bit scatter brain there maybe. Oh.
Team Scattered, I'll tell you that. And we are going to start off with our next fight as Scatter trying to get that ult back quickly. Already 33%. Great shot. Samadian up with the Galactic Legend directly onto the strat line. Great bubble there. Talked about a 55 HP per second. Psylocke gonna pop that butterfly. Nectar still not able to get much. Just force out some stuff. Kurova with the dance floor. Clobbering timeout as well. Back and forth. We see Q's pop. There is the value as Amadian finds Techie. And that is a nice pick. Dropping a Vanguard this early. He's just gonna buy them space until Aramori pops out that ult. Dink's gonna take out Kurova though. Aramori's ult is gonna be everything they've got to stay out of the point. Hopefully she turned around and drove that towards points of the team. Can hold on. Crimzo gonna turn around on Amadian. Great pick there to even the odds a little bit as Sentinels need to find some more value here or Nemesis can roll with a numbers advantage.
Mello trying to take down Crimzo as well, and I've been so impressed with this guy's improvement throughout the game. Crimzo barely hiding behind the box now, trying to take away. Rymazing was on the flank. I mean, he's playing pure anti-flank, chases down Rymazing, cooldowns out.
Nothing more brutal than seeing a cap at negative HP and still escaping full HP on the return. And here we go with the dunk. Not able to get anything with that meteor. Mello onto Rymazing. Another pick early. Again, Sentinels looking really good in these fights. And there is a ton, excuse me, Nemesis popping off. That's a 4-piece. Make that 5 as they are rolling together. Well done, Nemesis. As, like I said, excuse me, Mello off the pick there immediately for Nemesis. Gave them enough space. They followed up with a 4-piece after that. Nemesis is finding their footing with 2 minutes 25, roughly the exact same time that Sentinels had pushing into the third point.
Yeah, maybe this is Nemesis not looking too good on Hell's Heaven and now coming over to Symbiotic Surface. They did very well versus Stratex on this map as well. Just not maybe too strong of a domination team, but once they get to these sort of payload maps, they do very well. And right now, Kraz over to the Hulk as well to this third phase instead of the Thing. And right, oh jeez, Nectar gets picked off again. Sentinels, it feels like they're always on the back foot right now.
Yeah, and Nemesis is finding their footing. We talk about them, you know, maybe not feeling as confident on map 1, but things are looking up for them. Amazing now making the switch to Iron Man to try to find some picks onto the Cloak and Dagger during ult. Unfortunately, did not work out for him there. Mellow with a good dash and escape. Meteor M up, not able to find much. Very weak, but does not get the pick. Mellow once again resetting. Very low, good dash out. Ooh, Psyche lied all Mori with an off angle to find and clean up Mellow there. Well done. As now we see, oh my goodness, Amadian with 2. Make that soon to be 3 as they are walking now as a unit. The off angle touch from the dive. Try to commit again, but Amadian says no to Crimzo. Will they get the final pick? Yes, they do. And they are going to shove this thing very close to the final point.
Going to switch to the third phase of the Punisher and the Hulk to deal with Amazing on this. Iron Man is huge. Armory's over to the Jeff as well last second to maybe try to just like get some extra healing towards the objective. Crimzo also with the Freedom Charge ready to go, but Amadian sitting with the shotgun toward this objective.
I think Armory was thinking about it. Maybe they were considering the storm. I got to check on the bans again. But no, did go back again. Oh, yeah, out of Jeff, out of spawn. Good call. Amazing with a nice pick there on a Craze. And now the odds are turning back in their favor. 42 seconds. They're going to have one more major touch at this as a unit. They're going to have to reset. You do not want to get picked now. You want to come in hot with a potential portal play if they decide to do it. Doesn't look like they're doing it just yet. It's just going to be a natural touch here. And then if anyone goes down, the comm is to make that switch and teleport in.
I mean, Sentinels to secure themselves into that grand finals of their group. They're going to have that maximum pulse. Scatter's going to have Meteor M to go to counter it. We'll see if he holds on to that ultimate ready to go for this. Melio, meanwhile, Armello drops in early with the Dance of the Butterflies.
Yeah, and that's going to force out some stuff. No, Amazing goes down, and that is a giant pick as we will not have that pulse ready to counter. Danks is going to ult in, feeling more safe, knowing that Amazing is down. Now that we're in OT, the spawn timers, an additional little bit of time here. The dunk goes out for Meteor M Techie. Not able to find anything there. Kurova is done. Armory back now, using that ultimate Nectar as well. Amadian trying to get a pick, but Amadian goes down. Amazing gets 2, playing a ground Iron Man, and still able to get it done as Nectar takes out Ricky, and Sentinels are holding firm. Amazing with another ult, and that is going to clean them up, and Sentinels are going to win against Nemesis and push themselves in to the grand finals.